Welcome back, folks. Today we're going to be reloading some more 12 gauge here with the Lee Load All 2. In our last episode, we did some of the Remington high velocity and gun club holes. Both of those worked very well. And now we're moving on to some Winchesters. We have the newer versions of the AA's and some of the universal style from their field loads as well. We're going to be continuing with those Cheddite primers, and we're still using our tightwad and number 7 reclaimed shot. And I say reclaimed, it hasn't actually been like fired and reclaimed from the ground. It was pulled from factory ammo, so it's actually a mix of 6, 7, 8, but mostly 7 is what I'm told. Probably some 7.5 as well, but you get the picture. We're running a 7/8 ounce load, approximately 17 grains of tightwad, probably closer to 16.8. We're running the CB017512, which is actually optimized for a 3/4 ounce load, but as you've seen with our 7/8 ounce load, it fits up just perfectly into the case there. And we've been getting some pretty good crimps as long as I'm doing my part right. These Winchester holes, the AA's at least, they have an 8-point crimp. So we'll have to go with the front station when we get there. So let's go ahead and get started. Resizing ring with the ring up goes around our hole. This works much better if you come down with it. Punch out your old primer. And I've actually got a primer down in there already. So we're gonna come up over the ram here, knock the ring off, and now reprime. That comes straight up. Come down, we're gonna add our powder. Now we need to add our wad, again the CB0175-12. We'll ride that straight down with our wad guide. Go to the left with our shot now. And there's our payload right at the top of the wad, which is right at the bottom of the crimp, which is exactly where we want it. And with our 8-point crimp, we need the valley facing directly towards us without spilling everything on the table. And I'm actually going to come down slowly and feel where that crimp starts. And we should be perfect. And I lied, we're smashing it. Let's go ahead anyways. Okay, that could have been much worse, but obviously that does not look too hot. But it will go bang, it'll totally fire, it should fit in the gun. I'll just purdy up that crimp, go around a few extra times there. Totally not necessary, but it kind of helps uniform that up. We do have a little pinhole in the middle, and no shot is falling out, so yay. Okay, well, we're 1 out of 10 so far. Not looking too hot, but on with it anyways. Okay, fully sized. New Cheddite primer. Piece of cake there. Powder. New wad. Add our shot. And that looks very nice once again. All right, let's see if I can align this a little bit better this second time. Really get a feel on it. Trying to turn and spin and see where it settles. Right there. Hold your pre-crimp for a second to let it set. And again, not perfect. It's kind of rolling on the backside is what it looks like. Have the valley towards you. That looks much better this time. Excellent. I'm 1 out of 1 so far with the good crimp, you know, but they will both fire. I'm not even worried about that one bit. But doing these one at a time, it's kind of something you can take your time with and obsess with and be kind of OCD about, and it's kind of fun to me. You just take your time, work it on out. And I like that it's really hard to double charge something, because once you move over and add your powder, you can't just keep moving it over to add your powder. We have to come and add our shot next before you can powder again. So that kind of is a built-in protectant against double charging. So that's very cool in my mind. Yeah, this is looking nice. Okay, I'm going to try without feeling it. Just have that valley facing towards me. Yeah, that works pretty well. Yes, sir. I think that's what we're looking for. And those Cheddite primers are going in there just perfectly. But do note that if I were using domestic primers and used a Cheddite and then back to a CCI or a Remington or something, they would be loose. As I hear, the foreign primers have about 1,000th larger diameter, so that could be annoying. If you don't have them sorted, or if you do perhaps have them sorted and you can only find one type or the other. But for me, I'm just going to try and stock up on the Cheddites right now while they're available. They're the cheapest ones around. And, you know, I'm not too big of a shot shell shooter to begin with. So my usage, you know, if I get a couple thousand primers, that'll be plenty to keep me busy for the next several years at least, you know. Unless my schedule drastically changes and I join some sort of, you know, trap or skeet club or something. That would be sweet, but not in the foreseeable future. So my limited usage here could be held over by just a few thousand primers. And probably just a few hundred, but I'm kind of paranoid and I like a little bit of insurance. Because in my mind, I broke into my brick of primers, so I'm out of a brick of primers. I need a brick on standby. Yeah, these are looking great. I'm actually doing better just visually lining it up rather than trying to feel it. Whereas with those Remingtons, I had better luck feeling it than visually aligning it. Kind of strange how that works, but it is what it is. Ooh, yeah, some of these sound freaking brutal. Like, I'm surprised that doesn't punch through there more often than I've heard about. Like, it's just so thin and crappy. How does it work with so much leverage? Lee, you did your homework, I guess, because I got into shot shell reloading for like 60 or 70 bucks, whatever the hell it was. And now I'm addicted and I want one for 20 gauge. And they don't make one for 410, so I'm not going to buy a mech just to do 410. But once I do get a mech, I'll probably start with 12 gauge, and then I might get a 410 or 20 gauge conversion kit. You know what I'm saying. Okay, we've got our powder. Hit it with the wad. Seated very well at our shot. And I'm still surprised at how consistent it does this, but I guess since it's measured by volume rather than weight, it's hard to screw up. You know, it's hard to add more, but once you get low, it says you don't want less than a quarter fill of your tank because it won't fall in and fill up or whatever. So as long as you're full, you should be consistent. Shouldn't have any worries about that. Oh yeah. Couple little skid marks there, maybe from past firings. But these are looking just freaking amazing to me, folks. Tell you what. So those were the double A's. They feel a lot better or a lot nicer. They feel more gooder than this universal style hull. If you've heard someone just say universal hulls, they mean Winchester. So let's go ahead, deprime, see how that feels. Yep, size it out, okay. Got that down to the base, nice and flush there. And that's how you know that you're fully sized. You don't want that rim to hang out at all. And as you see, these holes, when they stretch out, they're less malleable, so they stick where they were. So like whereas these Remingtons, they still had some grab. You could just slide them up here and they'll stick. These cheaper plastic ones, you can tell right off the bat that they're not as high quality because there's no tension there right around the mouth. But we'll go back, prime, knock off the ring. Oh yeah. You can see the base of our steel case head there, where it got sized. Very nice. And tight wad. And wad, claybuster wad. Shot. This is so simple, you know, when I just imagined shot shell reloading about a month ago, my mind was like, man, I don't understand none of it. But as you see, we did some research with our holes. We found out what kind of wads we need for each type, and I've segregated those into different styles. I've got a couple wads I can use. I've got some holes set aside that I need wads for, like the Estate Rio Federal styles. But so far I'm good on the Winchester and Remington types. So, pre-crimp's coming apart. Whoopsie. Yeah, the Lee manual says to quickly move from pre-crimping to final crimping. You saw it opening up there. And now we got a swirly because I moved it. Actually, it closed up our center much better, but you're getting a little swirly action there. That actually worked pretty well. Very nice on the first universal. And before I really knew about the different hole types, as in tapered versus straight, this whole bucket over here off to the side, I have like the Winchester 20 gauge double A's, and I guess they're Challengers or something. I thought they were all the same because they were all yellow, but apparently those two are both the opposite styles. So I'm gonna have to go through those again, and it'll be the same kind of thing here with the 12 gauge, where I'll have one style of hole set aside for one kind of primer type, and then, you know, the others set aside for the other type. And really, to me, that'll help me kind of be like, all right, I'm going to use these holes for this kind of load, and then these holes with these wads with this kind of load. So it'll kind of help me kind of keep things categorized. I'll just go, oh yeah, Winchester holes, that's my birdshot load or whatever. Oh, the Remingtons, that's my buckshot or my double otter. You know, my number 4 goes into these holes. In my mind, at least, that's how it's going to work, but I really doubt I'll find so many of each one that'll be able to do that. And I'll probably just, you know, have a big friggin' ammo can with 500 of whatever holes ended up working. Anyways, this tightwad stuff leaks like a mofo. But that's no fault of the hole, that's just press. And the, that wad wanted to come back up a little bit. So I went ahead and pushed it down. I don't know if that's bad to push the wad down with your shot already in it. I'm sure that's not preferred. It could probably bulge out somewhere, but I think we got away with it. And There we go. Wad is where we want it. Our shot's where we want it. Let's go right there to pre-crimp. Nice. Very nice. Yep. I am totally satisfied with that right there, fellers. We'll knock out the rest of these and I'll catch up with you here in a minute. And just like that, through the magic of recording and editing, we are here at the end. You can see on your right side, we have our double A's with our very nice crimps, except ew, that little guy there. And we have a couple pinholes in the center, but nothing spilling out. And over on our left, we have some of the universal holes. And these were a little more temperamental, I guess you could say. I had some issues with the wads not getting seated as easily, and they would kind of scoot out a little bit, but I just pushed them back in with the shot on top of it. That's probably not ideal. I'm sure it can cause bulging and such, but we were able to get it back to the depth we needed and able to apply that final crimp there, so everything ended up just fine. So we've got a few here to take to the range for testing. Overall, the double A's are much better than the universals. But if you're just picking up stuff at the range to have something loaded on hand, the universals are certainly going to work just as well to get that one extra firing out of. And so far, I'm a big fan of anything Remington. Those nitros and premieres are excellent. The gun clubs are great. Those high velocities are awesome. These Winchester double A's, even the newer kinds, are pretty good. I have not tried the older versions, which everyone loves, but where the hell are you going to find those? And then those crappy Browning ones were really crappy, and these universals are pretty meh. So that's where I'm at right now. I've got a couple other holes to test out as far as things that will work with the wads I have. So that'll be coming up next. Stay tuned for more, folks, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.